The ventricular atrium is the key to the diagnosis of fetal central nervous system anomalies. Let us return to our study of the 112 fetuses. In those 112 fetuses, the ventricular atrium measured greater than 10 millimeters in 99 of them, or 88%. So, looking at the ventricular atrium enabled us to identify 88% of these 112 central nervous system anomalies. Ventriculomegaly is the tip of the iceberg we seek. We are looking for this great submerged iceberg of fetal central nervous system maldevelopment, and ventriculomegaly is the tip of that iceberg. Why does it work so well for us? Because ventriculomegaly is the final common observation in three entirely separate pathologic developmental mechanisms. If the ventricle obstructs, regardless of the reason, the ventricle enlarges. If an insufficient amount of brain tissue develops, the body abhors a vacuum, and in the central nervous system, it fills in the vacuum with fluid, usually fluid in the ventricle as well. If a perfectly normal amount of brain tissue develops and then something comes along and destroys it, again, the body abhors a vacuum. It fills in that vacuum in the central nervous system with fluid, again, typically also fluid in the ventricle. So here we have a patient that has come today for her sonogram. Mrs. Jones, you note that the glomus of the choroid does not fully fill or nearly fill the ventricular atrium, so you measure it, and it comes out to be 11 millimeters. Are we going to ruin Mrs. Jones's day for 1 silly millimeter? And the answer to that is unfortunately yes. You may also observe this mild lemon sign. This is a fetus with a myelomeningocele, but my first clue that it was present was that mild enlargement of the ventricle. Here is Mrs. Johnson. She has come today for her sonogram. We see that the glomus does not fill the ventricular atrium. We measure it. Are we going to ruin Mrs. Johnson's day because of 1 silly millimeter? Unfortunately, the answer to that question is yes. This is not a very good day for Mrs. Johnson. Again, if you noted this high-riding third ventricle, you've already decided that this fetus has dysgenesis of the corpus callosum, and that is commonly associated with a variety of bad things. All right. The probability is tomorrow when you do your first obstetrical sonogram, you will not see an enlarged ventricular atrium. So what is the value of it? Here it is. You have just excluded all the cases of hydrocephalus, nearly all cases of brain atrophy, all the cases that I have seen in more than 35 years as a prenatal diagnostician. Most cases of the Dandy-Walker malformation, nearly all cases of holoprosencephaly, all of the cases that I have seen in more than 35 years as a prenatal diagnostician. All the cases of hydranencephaly, nearly all the cases of complete agenesis of the corpus callosum, a large number and percentage of the myelomeningocele cases, and nearly all of the encephalocele cases. So literally, an observation that takes you less than 2 seconds accomplished all of that for you.